Hello and welcome to Diecast Restos. My name is Jason and I am a rank amateur modeller.
Hello again. Hopefully I'm not so rank amateur these days, but you can be the judge of that. So this is my first anniversary video, recreating my debut restoration of a 14C Lomas Ambulance. It was in the Matchbox range from 1962 to 1968 and based on a Bedford J series truck with ambulance fitments by a company called Lomas, hence the model name. The Bedfords were British built and the commercial vehicle arm of Vauxhall. Anyway, more on this example. It is actually in better physical shape than my first restoration attempt. It definitely has more paint and the structure around the rear doors is not damaged and misshapen, unlike video 1. It even has a rear door still. In hindsight, I gave myself a lot of work to do for a first ever attempt at diecast modelling. Here's a glimpse of the real life Bedford Lomas Ambulance. So in the top corners I have my video number 1 footage that I've reordered to the timeline of how I restore models these days. I've certainly made an upgrade on removing wheels with a rotary tool and not using pliers. Still using the same technique, drilling the posts with a 1.5mm drill bit. Evidently before I didn't show the threading of the posts. And here are the parts that are ready for my updated paint strip. I mean, picking away at the paint was never going to be a quick process, so I think I'll use caustic soda instead. Enough of the irritating original backing track, I move on to polishing the casting. Once again, my rotary tool makes life 100 times easier. I do now and then use a handled wire brush, but generally this method is much faster and more effective. Bedford manufactured the TJ series of trucks for an incredibly long time, from 1958 to 1975 for domestic use, but export vehicles were produced by Bedford through to 1986. Manufacturing was divested by GM in 1987, and production of the TJ series continued further under AWD trucks until 1992. TJ series trucks were popular in Australia, Pakistan and India, and were even built by Hindustan Motors in the latter. My spraying technique hasn't changed. I'm still waiting to get a spray booth once I eventually move house. I'm even using the same clamps on the casting. You can see I'm a bit less generous with the primer here. I quickly learned that you don't really need a great deal to get good paint adhesion. Here's that dusty cobweb filled interior, ready for a clean in warm soapy water. I'm still using my wife's toothbrush for scrubbing the pieces, as influenced by Marty's Matchbox makeovers that I even referenced in the original video. Once the white interior piece is clean, I focus on the wheels, then leave them to dry. Same old for the axles. My sandpaper is looking worse for wear now though. Now on to paint application of the Tamiya TS7 Racing White as before. The only real difference is that it's permanently teeming down with rain, so I can't spray outdoors at the moment. This TS7, even with white primer, takes a good 3 to 4 coats, which is easily most out of all of the colour variations that I own. It just applies very thinly, and I'm not keen on applying too much at one time to prevent pooling. I use new products now for the wheels. Instead of using black paint and thinners, I opt for the brilliant Citadel Gloss Nuln Oil. I haven't looked back since swapping, it really is great. Another new addition to last year, the Molotow Chrome Paint Pen. It's so good for direct application and looks, in my opinion, more realistic on the model than the brushed on silver. Now I reassemble the model, first placing the cleaned plastic interior. I align the base ready to fit the reproduction resprayed doors. Gotta be sure to get them round the right way. I lever in the left hand door first and hold it in place by resting the base against the tab at the bottom while I fetch the other door. You have to be very careful as you can easily lose the opposite door during fitting. Here's the Molotow pen again with a new versus old comparison. The chrome just pops so much more than the silver does. Now, here's something that I used to do better than I do now. I hate water slide transfers. Top left is the first ever recorded attempt and first attempt on a diecast car, and I pull it off perfectly. The main picture is what? My 50-something restoration, and I've applied countless transfers. But none have ever gone as smoothly as my first go. But I'm not one to shy away from showing you my feeble attempts, so I'll just speed it up instead. And back in the drink it goes. I've gotten quite good at rescuing my screw-ups. I've only destroyed one set of transfers on an as yet unseen restoration. My second attempt is a bit better, but I really ought to be using my cotton bud instead of using my sausage fingers. Once I've rolled out all that excess moisture, I apply some Mr. Mark Softer transfer setting solution. So here is Genesis. This is model number 1 on its big screen birthday, and showing signs of its age. The wheel wash used to dry on fairly blotchy if it wasn't mixed down properly, which looks to have been the case here. My painting skills were a bit off the mark, a couple of overruns here and there, but the transfers look good and the paint quality is decent. Under a proper studio light, something the original video was missing, you can see those gouges in the roof. On the back there is the scratched paint from the door. I think some more panel beating may have been required, as that back end really had been crushed in, and there's some dodgy paint that didn't dry properly on the door interior. Anyway, Genesis 2 looked like this when we started. Patchy, dirty, rusty on the axles, and despite all this, arguably in better condition than episode 1 of Diecast Restos. The channel has come a long way over the course of the year, and my modelling has come on leaps and bounds, but there is still plenty to learn, and plenty to restore. How did that door get put on backwards? We'll never know. Anyway, this is what it looks like now. I won't say much, but I will leave you to judge. Please leave your thoughts on the video in the comments below. I'd like to take a brief opportunity to thank anyone who has watched even a minute of any of my videos, anyone that has liked them, anyone who has commented and criticised with constructive remarks, anyone with positive comments, all of my fantastic Patreon supporters over the year, and of course to all my subscribers. Your continued support means the world to me. Thank you all. So to close out this video, here's past me.
But otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate any likes and subscribes. I will be updating this channel regularly, and it just leaves me to say thank you for watching again, and take care.